Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary, makes Maxine Waters look like an absolute fool. This might be her worst moment yet. Let's dive in.
Do you know the level, type, or nature of the clearances and security training required for individuals to access the information held in the computers of Treasury, IRS, or CFPB?
Yes, I do, and I think we would have a disagreement over the definition of the word unfettered.
Mr. Secretary, did all the individuals working with DOGE who were given access to Treasury's and CFPB's computer databases receive all of the required clearances and security training before they were granted access?
Again, they were granted read-only access at Treasury. There were two.
So let me just say,
DOGE employees.
please, you can't filibuster here. This is not the filibuster playground. And so what you did was you let these strangers into our Treasury with access to all of the data, all of the personnel information, and you just opened the door. Why'd you do that?
No, ma'am. They were Treasury employees.
Oh, are you saying today in front of this committee that all of them were Treasury employees, that the 25-year-old who's being identified, who worked for Elon Musk, was allowed into the Treasury? Was that person there?
He was a Treasury employee, as was Tom Kraus, the senior person on the DOGE team. There were only two people.
There were DOGE employees also.
Sorry?
Do you know, were you aware that there were DOGE employees coming into our Treasury getting all of our personal information?
Well, ma'am, there is no such thing as a DOGE employee. There were Treasury employees.
I tend to disagree with you based on the information I have.
Wait a minute. Please tell me I heard what I just heard, all right? Did Maxine Waters just say that she has alternative facts? God, I love this timeline. That's what she basically said. She says that she has alternative facts to what Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary, has in his domain. She says that she has other information. She disagrees with him. Here's the reality. Okay, first off, we got to start off with this filibuster thing. All of a sudden, Democrats are caring about the idea of filibustering, which is ironic because as I've been covering news for the past year and a half on these channels, I tend to notice something that when Republicans are trying to grill a Democrat in a Democrat-controlled Senate and a Democrat-controlled White House, they tend to be talking about reclaiming my time and just yes or no. The Democrats do the same thing. Again, congressmen and senators will use these same tactics. What they use here, however, is the Democrats are talking about a filibuster. Oh, brother. They're trying to prime the pump for, once again, the idea that the Senate needs a filibuster, or the Senate protects the filibuster of the minority party. So they're trying to set themselves up in a way that they can properly resist the Trump administration. This kind of resistance, this kind of bat guano mentality here, that didn't exist on the other side a year ago. It now exists on the Democrat Party, and oh boy, is this going to make things a whole lot spicier and a whole lot dumber. Because Maxine Waters is talking about an instance where two DOGE, not employees, by the way, DOGE employees are special government employees. They're called contractor-like, but the reality is they're not contractors. They're not third-party institutions. They're not direct government workers. They are special government workers. Sorry, Maxine, you don't get your own facts on this one. These special government workers under the Department of DOGE, which was created by, drumroll please, Barack Obama in 2014. I think it was the Digital Services Department, and Trump basically used those digital services that were created under executive order. And then he helped create the DOGE department, which Elon Musk now oversees. By the way, he's stepping away from DOGE as he has been able to get the ball rolling. He is able to start what's needed, and it's going to be interesting if he ever comes back. I hope he does, because he's already exposed so much, and this is why we need DOGE. Maxine Waters, however, wants to make sure that she's getting her sound bites just in order, just enough to make it look like she's properly resisting, when the reality is She's showing that she has no idea what she's doing. This is the Democrats' alternative facts moment, and I'm loving it. The two employees she's complaining about are individuals that have currently been brought up in lawsuits, one of which has been terminated after only a 6-week basis. However, that person, by the name of Elise, I believe, last name anyways, was only supposed to be in there for about 6 weeks anyways, so they're not renewing his contract. And so the Democrats are out here screaming about these two employees, and what are they screaming about? They're alleging that they have abused their access to sensitive Treasury information. And the reality is this. The two men, that is Elias and Krause, don't have the ability to make changes to the Treasury payment system, nor does the Justice Department believe the employees have shared it or discussed it with anyone outside of the Treasury Department, Humphreys told the judge. So these two individuals, the reality is, have been brought in by Elon Musk to overlook at the systems and see what needs to be updated and what doesn't. They've been on a read-only basis. However, one of these two employees did seem, for a brief amount of time, like he had higher access. However, they've also shown absolutely no reason to believe whatsoever that anything got changed. More likely than not, someone accidentally gave him extra access or clearance to go over a set of code lines, and that way he can take that, put it into a little algorithm and see what can be cut, what works, what doesn't. Okay? That's a language of coding, and the Democrats are screaming about this little oversight that briefly blipped up and has been taken care of. This is the best they can do, isn't it? This is the best they can yell and scream about, because they're talking about your information. They're talking about your identity, your social security, also your tax dollars, which they have been wasting for decades. And it has gotten exponentially worse under Democrat administrations. Barack Obama did nothing to bring down the deficit. As a matter of fact, he added to it. Despite being smart enough to keep the Bush tax cuts, he continued to expand the foreign wars, he expanded the bureaucracy, and did very little to actually make any real cuts. He gave it some lip service in 2009, but that's about all we could expect from him. The reality is this. The Democrats are trying to fearmonger, and they're trying to set up the moment where they can use the filibuster to basically tell their people back home that, hey, we're trying our best, but these are the laws in place. You just need to give us more money so we can win in the midterms, so we can definitely stop the Trump administration. Well, too bad for them. The ball is already rolling, and Americans still like the idea of DOGE. But beware. And I do mean beware of this. There's a lot of bad information out there, and of course we're used to the mainstream media being just genuinely terrible when it comes to actually reporting on what's actually happening. And so the Democrats are trying to spin this story up into this giant tornado when the reality is this is a nothing burger. They're complaining about a story because one dude briefly got higher clearance, which again, that higher clearance from read-only basically means I might be able to tamper with a few code lines. That's not much. If you cared about those issues, then congratulations, you need to care about the NSA. Then if you're worried about your information being leaked, you might need to look into Google. We care enough when a Chinese company does it, and rightfully so. But when Google does it, we just kind of shrug our shoulders. So Democrats really have no idea what they're getting into here. This is not a winning issue for them. If anything, the average American is going to look at this and go, what are you complaining about? And of course, Maxine Waters, being who she is, probably doesn't even know what she's talking about either. And meanwhile, Scott Bessent basically takes her down with one simple line that, yes, these are Treasury employees. And that is exactly what these special government employees are for the Treasury Department. So straight from the horse's mouth, folks. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.